All right, we are here with our impromptu session with the ECA conference, and I'm talking to two brothers, Shawn and Matt Benjamin, who are with Smart Delivery. They're based in Minnesota and Dallas. And fellas, how y'all doing?
We're doing well. Yeah, enjoying the day today. Getting to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a few quick questions, right? So as second generation owners of the business, like how has it been taking the business over from your parents and maybe the next generation and trying to figure out to put your own imprint on Smart Delivery and what you guys have done different from the previous generation?
Yeah, I think for us it was easy to get into because we've been doing this ever since we were little kids. You know, we were in the office when we were in school. So for us, it's almost second nature. You know, this business has been the talk of the breakfast table and the dinner table for years. It's easy for us to catch up, but now I think the biggest focus for us is just kind of taking the next step. You know, looking at other additional lines of service and other things that we can offer to new clients now that we never even imagined in the past.
Yeah, completely. I think partially it's, the system wasn't broken before. We were a successful business before, so keep doing what we're doing, but then also how can we change things, make things more efficient, make some things more profitably and more better.
Yeah. So mom and dad still involved in the business day to day?
Not really, to be honest. More of an advisory role than anything. But, as any family business, they advise us on family. They advise us on business. It's
mom and dad never seem to get out the way, right?
Mom and dad always have an opinion on everything. So
yeah, it's a blessing at the same time.
It is. All right, so switching gears. So what would you guys say, what's the biggest issue you guys are having in the business today? When you guys are meeting with the management team, the leadership team, what's the top one or two issues that are keeping you guys up at night?
I think talent. I think finding talented drivers that are motivated, that want to get out and hustle. I think the driver pool is slightly changing now with the whole gig economy, and we're also feeling that, with our internal staff and our office team.
Do you think is it hard to find them or hard to keep them, or both?
Yeah, probably both. I think our industry is very specialized. So we operate at such a expedited pace, such a quick decisions have to be made all the time that there's not a lot of people with relevant experience, and people from the trucking industry just move at a different pace than we do.
Yeah. And so when you think about opportunities, you mentioned you guys have doing some new things different than the previous generation. What do you see next 3 to 5 years for Smart Delivery and just kind of the overall picture of finding out?
So for us, especially over the last couple of years, the bigger push has been more on the final mile side, pick and pack, warehousing, distribution, retail work, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So our bread and butter for many years has been the courier side, and it probably will continue for quite a while, but it seems like the industry is really moving towards big and bulky and whatnot, and that's definitely somewhere that we've been trying to position ourselves for future growth.
Yeah, the big and bulky, we did the same thing. Big and bulky, it's challenging because it's obviously most times it's B2C type deliveries. So you have a customer on the side that's waiting for a client or some merchandise there. You have drivers that have to enter in someone's residence potentially, or maybe the office and doing some maybe light assembly or kitting, breakdown, debris removal type stuff. When you guys look at the courier business from a big and bulky or white and home delivery, do you operate them differently? Do you have different SOPs and standards on how you approach it, or is it kind of all the same?
Yeah, I think we have different SOPs, different expectations, but at the same time, courier is so specialized. On our medical side, if we're going in, our drivers have to know, you take a left at the door, you go down the hallway, you enter the third door, go into the lab, grab the stuff in the fridge. All of it's so specialized that the courier side is specialized. We just transition that right over to our white glove side where we train our drivers well, they know the process, and then they are able to succeed with that.
Yeah. So last question, second gen, is there a chance for the third gen potentially that would be, is the plan to have a third gen of Smart Delivery rounds? Both have young kids at home, right? So you want your kids in this business or not?
I think the biggest thing is to do whatever they're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, like I said, we've been involved for so long.
Yeah.
So it really felt like a natural transition. We both worked at independent other businesses before we came into the family business officially as adults.
Yeah.
So that gave us a little bit of outside perspective as well, which allowed us to bring in some new things that we never have considered in the past from other business lines.
And I have an older brother. We worked together for a brief period of time. So, what happens when the brothers don't agree? Like, how's these debates? You get some gloves on and go in the backyard, we duke it out, or like how these problems get resolved?
Yeah, pretty much we duke it out. No, I mean, I think we both have to make our points, and ultimately one of us has to concede and agree that the other person's points are more valid, or will be the direction that we go. But we put our gloves on and duke it out.
Yeah. I would say I love a good scrimmage, right?
Yeah, right.
Good scrimmage takes you a long way.
And I'm not gonna lie, we've definitely had situations where we'll have a yelling match in the office, and then at the end of the day we say, "Hey, you and your wife are still coming over for dinner today," right? So I mean, I guess compartmentalizing the business and the personal life, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters as well.
It's true. I mean, I think I would have the same thing with my dad, and we have these scrimmages, these big arguments, and there'd be Thanksgiving dinner around the corner, so you gotta play nice. But I think the thing I found is that even though, you're working together with your family, which can be challenging, there's no greater person you have trust than your brother or your mom, your dad. So even when you may not, be on the same page in terms of decisions, that person's vested interest is in the betterment of the wealthy. So you go to sleep a little bit at night knowing like, I don't have to worry about protecting home base, right? Somebody has just as much vested interest as I do.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one else I'd be able to trust more and know that we're pushing in the same direction. We have the same goals. There may be, two different routes that we want to go to get there, but at the end of the day, we have the same.
All right, last thing. Tell the folks out there, how can they find you guys?
So you can find us at our website, smart-delivery.com. Anything we can do to help on the courier side, final mile, distribution, warehousing, we'd love to at least have the conversation.
Operating what markets you operate in?
Minnesota and Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth specifically.
All right. Last First Podcast, Shawn and Matt, Smart Delivery. Need solutions, check them out. Peace. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we got to do it like